damn weird. Poltergeist. The term poltergeist is a German word literally meaning a noisy ghost. For a spirit said to be manifesting itself by visibly moving and influencing objects. But remember, not all things moving means poltergeist, as well as rarely is a poltergeist actually a ghost. It's more of a manifestation of psychokinetic abilities. But going into folklore, poltergeist, German for noisy ghost, is a type of ghost or spirit that is responsible for physical disturbances such as loud noises and objects being moved or destroyed. They're reportedly capable of pinching, biting, hitting, and tripping people. Most accounts of poltergeist describe the movement or levitation of objects such as furniture and cutlery, or noises such as knocking on doors. They have traditionally been described as troublesome spirits who haunt a particular person instead of a specific location, such as alleged poltergeist manifestations have been reported in many cultures and countries including the United States, India, Japan, Brazil, Australia, and most European nations. Early accounts date back to the 1st century. Many claim poltergeist events have proved on investigations to be hoaxes. Psychiatrical researcher Frank Podmore proposed the naughty little girl theory for poltergeist cases, many of which have seemed to center on the adolescent, usually a girl. He found that the center of the disturbance was often a child who was throwing objects around to fool or scare people for attention. Skeptical investigators Joe Nichols says that claimed poltergeist incidents typically originate from an individual who is motivated to cause mischief, according to Nickel. In a typical poltergeist outbreak, small objects are hurled through the air by unseen forces, furniture is overturned, or other disturbances occur. Usually, just what could be accomplished by a juvenile trickster determined to plague credulous adults. Nickel writes that reports are often exaggerated by credulous witnesses. Time and again, in other poltergeist outbreaks, witnesses have reported an object leaping from its resting place, supposedly on its own, when it is likely that the perpetrator had secretly obtained the object sometime earlier and waited for an opportunity to fling it, even from outside the room, thus supposedly proving he or she was innocent. According to research in animalistic psychology, claims of poltergeist activities can be explained by psychological factors such as illusions, memory lapses, and wishful thinking. A study, Langenhorn, 1998, wrote that poltergeist experiences are delusions resulting from the affective and cognitive dynamics of percipience, interpretation of ambiguous stimuli. Psychologist Donovan Rockcliffe had written that almost all poltergeist cases that have been investigated turned out to be based on trickery, whilst the rest are attributed to psychological factors such as hallucinations. Attempts have also been made to scientifically explain poltergeist disturbances that have not been traced to fraud or psychological factors. Skeptics and magician Milborn Crusfer found that some cases of poltergeist activity can be attributed to unusual air currents, such as a 1957 case on Cape Cod, where downdrafts from the uncovered chimney were strong enough to knock a mirror off the wall and overturn chairs and knock things off shelves. In the 1950s, Guy William Lambert proposed that reported poltergeist phenomenon could be explained by movements of underground water, causing stress on the house. He suggested the water turbulence could cause strange sounds or structural movements of the property, possibly causing the house to vibrate and to move objects. Later researchers, such as Alan Gold and Tony Cornell, tested Lambert's hypothesis by placing specific objects in different rooms and subjecting the room to strong mechanical vibrations, thus discovering that although the structure of the building had been damaged, only a few of the objects moved a very short distance. The skeptic Trevor H. Hall criticized the hypothesis, claiming if it was true, the building would almost certainly fall into ruins. According to Richard Wiseman, the hypothesis had not held up to scrutiny. Michael Persinger had theorized that seismic activity could cause poltergeist phenomena. However, Persinger's claims regarding the effects of the environmental geomagnetic activity on paranormal experiences have not been independently replicated, and like his findings regarding the God helmet, may simply be explained by the suggestibility of the participants. David Turner, a retired physicist, chemist, suggested that ball lightning might cause the spooky movement of objects blamed on poltergeist and paranormal events. Parapsychologists Nandor Fodor and William G. Roll suggested that poltergeist activity can be explained by psychokinesis. Poltergeist activity has often been believed to be the work of malicious spirits by spiritualists. According to Allan Kardec, the founder of the Spiritism, poltergeists are manifestations of disembodied spirits of low level, belonging to the sixth class of a third order. Under this explanation, they are believed to be closely associated with the elements such as fire, air, water, and earth. But the theory I most support from the result of my experiences in the studies is that it's an uncontrolled eruption of psychic potential. It seems that doctors are close to finding similar factors in the minds of those present, as well as the younger person, usually in puberty. Is the focus. The human mind is not well understood. We know where parts are, but not always what it does. Now add to that the rewiring the human mind goes through during this time of puberty. The teenagers seem legally insane. Technically they are, as their body mutates into some unknown thing, as far as they seem to understand. With their mind, energy, the electricity, as can be detected, actually changes where it rests, where it's most active in the brain during this time. In the cases where they call hoax, they will explain that the child could have and may have wanted the thing to happen. They fail to prove that it did as they say, though, or how it happened. In some cases, I have heard scientists explain the way the undead ghost spirits by saying the same sort of psychic fit of telekinesis and then drop it. It's a hoax, not a ghost, but it is definitely an event that is beyond current science, explaining one supernatural thing with a more comfortable one. In some cases, what was poltergeist can manifest with spiritual essence in the environment and blend. Or in the worst case scenario, I've heard but never seen, but it's theoretically possible, the creative manifestation can become a separate entity, remaining behind after the focus that had created it. Sort of like a case I'll cover later in which a group of people created a false ghost and then others later detected the very same ghost with no connection between the two groups except for the house that was being used, not knowing at all of the activities of the first group. These are a sort of incarnated manifestations. In a way, might even explain some cult or religious activities. While researching this one, I discovered a group of poltergeist cases I have not explored before. So I'm going to start a collection of case studies and those poltergeist cases that I see if it fits my theory or not. Hopefully we'll learn something. So till then, thank you.